we think guys are so hard and tough, but I think guys are sensitive too. I feel like when we say things a certain way, like they take it as a hit to their ego every time. Why is it you always bringing up some shit I didn't do or some shit you
Mhm.
need me to do? Why is it always me? So I feel that we need to word things in a way where it's not like a shot to their ego. Thaddeus, tell me, from a male's perspective, if we see something that we want you to fix, how can we say it to you so you don't feel like it's a personal attack to your ego?
Keep it to yourself.
Let me say another thing too about in terms of dealing with conflict, how important it is to know your partner, who your partner is. Because some people are, to me, quicker to forgive than others. Some people need more time to think about things. So like in the situation I was telling you about, I'm someone who would do that crazy shit, right? That would say, you know what, I'm blocking you on everything, you need to get your shit together, blah, 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 right? Turn around and
Mhm.
come and apologize and like forgive them like the next day and be like straight, and then thinking like, okay, they need to be their regular self too. Like, why, when I come back to you the next day, you're not your chirpy self, your regular self, And it takes that person longer, to forgive and get over the situation. You know what I'm saying? And
Mhm.
some people need time to think about it because if I come to you with a concern, your personality type may be like, okay, let me think about how I feel about this. Let me get the right words because I don't want to hurt your feelings. I want to say it in a way where you're going to understand. So if you just come at me with, why you post a picture with her? Let me give me a moment. And then other people like myself or others may be able to respond right away. Like, hey, babe, it wasn't this, it wasn't that. So, my perception, our perception from both sides you have to understand what kind of person you're dealing with. Everyone's not the same. So that's a huge part of it that I'm realizing as well. Go ahead, Thaddeus.
Now that's actually that's a good point, valid point. But that's along the line of conflict resolution, right?
Yeah,
Is
this was,
getting to know
yeah.
someone's upbringing too, right? And their past relationships and how they saw their parents or whoever they had
Oh,
as like a
that's,
role model growing up. Remember, Lydia said that on the last podcast. She had a
yes.
way of dealing with conflict. She saw how how my mom and my dad dealt with conflict, and I saw that growing up. So that's why to me, like arguing to me, like it makes no sense. And I up to this day I refuse to argue. Like I do not argue in relationships. I say what I need to say, like you say what you need to say, and then after 5 minutes it's like, okay, like what are we doing? What are we doing? You want me to do this? Okay, I'm not doing it. Like
Oh,
I'm not. So what, where do we go from here?
oh
Like,
my God,
yeah, like
Thaddeus.
that's just how it is. It's like there's like I want you to do this. Oh, it's like no, I'm not doing that. Okay, so what is it? Because I'm not about to go back and forth with you arguing. But that's just me. So like people need to understand like, okay, well, this is how he grew up. Like this is how he saw his dad. Like,
Exactly. Hmm.
my dad was very like I guess they call him alpha male, whatever. He don't go back and forth with you. Like even with me growing up in the house, I didn't go back. I couldn't go back and forth with my dad. Like he just told you, hey, this is how it is. Oh, you don't like it? Yeah. Hey, no problem. See the door right there? He's like, don't let it hit you in the butt. If you don't like my rules, you don't have to be here. Simple.
Yeah.
And yeah, that's how I'm in relationships. Like, I'm not going back and forth. Like, back and forth for what? It's like you tell me, hey, honey, like this, I really don't like when you do this. Cool. Okay. Can you stop doing it? Nah, I actually like doing this. It's like, why you can't stop doing this? Like, I explained to them, you know that you cannot have everything, right?
Wow.
Right. So you asked me for a request and your request was denied.
So does it matter why the request was denied? What if it was something that just was like a deal breaker for her? It really, do
Okay.
you sit and listen to the
Yeah.
why? Which is
Yeah.
one of the tips that I'm going to say tips from Psychology Today that I looked up as, for conflict resolution. So that was one of it, to generally sit and active listen and put yourself in the person's shoes. Do you put yourself in their shoes and think and really listen to the why behind what they are requesting?
I mean, I try to hear people's heart, right? I try to hear, because a lot of times, especially when couples are arguing, they're never really arguing about the thing or the subject that they're discussing, right? So it's like, and I've had to become emotionally intelligent enough. I've had to
Hello.
in order for me to understand. So it's like, for instance, like if a woman is, she's like, oh, honey, like you never put the, the cap back on the toothpaste and you always leave this, around. Like, you really think that putting the cap on the toothpaste is really that much of a bother to her? No, it's like she think that you don't respect her, or that you don't value her, and you just taking her for granted. Like there's something deeper.
Yes.
So for me, conflict resolution like that just became so much easier, because now it's like I don't listen to the words. I just like, okay, well, what is the underlying reason? Okay, well, you
Yes.
don't think I value you, and it's like, okay, well, I'll have a conversation with like, yeah, I don't value you.
That is.
No, I'm just kidding. Of course, like, I mean, I'm just kidding, right? But you'll just have to find ways. Okay, like, listen, like, I really don't like putting the cap back on the toothpaste. That's never gonna happen, right? You won't always have to do that. Like, that's just gonna be your thing from now until eternity. Like, that's what you're gonna have to do. However, to show you that, like, that me leaving the cap off doesn't mean that I don't respect you or that I value. How can I show you in other ways that I really value you? So, okay, well, maybe I might take you out for dinner, or maybe buy you flowers more often, or maybe verbalize how you feel. We can do that.
Or the resolution, you get your toothpaste and I get my toothpaste. So I could leave the cover off of mine and you can squeeze from.
We can do that too.
Boom! Right?
You see, I mean, that's how I resolve problems. Like that's just how I resolve problems. But to go back and forth with it, and it's like, it makes no sense. It makes no sense.
No, I love what you said. And that was one of the tips from the Psychology Today was mentioning, to get at the root of it, right? Because we notice that so many times it's not the thing that's going on, but with the deeper, the root, like why, and like you said. The other thing that it mentioned, one of them was to be direct. And I think women oftentimes have a problem with this. Like, we assume the guys are mind readers. And it's like, what do you mean? I have to sit here and explain to you why coming home at this time was offensive to me, why you shouldn't have done this for my birthday. Like, I have to sit down and tell you that. But a lot of things that come, as intuitive and natural to us is not. So you sitting there and not being direct with the guy and telling him straight up, this exactly is what I don't like that you did. You know what I mean? Well, we're going to talk about how to say it, but the whole thing about being direct, I think guys can more so be direct, because I think that's how y'all talk to each other, right? Y'all just direct. I'm sorry?
Exactly.
Yeah, but us as women, we too many times are assuming the guy. So even if you think it's super basic, ladies, you gotta explain it to them. Don't assume they know anything. Anything. Okay. So that's another thing I wanted to mention too. And I'm sure you've had that experience with women, right, Thaddeus?
Of course.
Yeah, number one. So
many times they just think I'm a mind reader.
Yeah.
And so sit them down and tell them, listen, I know that I'm a great and wonderful guy, and I know that you think that I'm Superman and that I can do all things, and I know that you think that I'm so intelligent that I can just read minds. But unfortunately, I haven't gotten those superpowers as yet. So can you please tell me what's on your mind?
Tell them straight. Just tell them, be precise.
And they'd be like, yep, and they'd be like, never mind. And then I'm just like, cool. Just go back to doing what I'm doing.
Yeah, I mean, and and you got to get to that point. Like, one time I actually told the guy that, I'm like, okay, what you need to do is call me tomorrow and say, yes, we're meeting for a date, and, have excitement in your voice when you do it.
Exactly.
He's like, I love, that was so sexy that you just told me that. He said that literally. And sure enough, the next day he called and he said, oh, we're going out tonight. I was like, oh, really? And I was...
Women, they, like, especially like in Western cultures, women have what we call first world problems. Like, oh my God, like, do you know I had to actually ask him to wash the dishes? It's like, yeah, well, did he wash it? Yeah. But like, I had to ask him. Like, oh my God, that is so horrible. Oh my God. It's like, I had to tell him, and I had to plan my own date. Like, I actually had to plan, and I made reservations. And I'm like, yeah, but the guy paid, right? I mean, and women, like, I think that women need to actually go over to like the men's red pill space and see what's happening to the men. Like, see how many men are just like, women are so entitled and,
oh my gosh.
Like, they're so ungrateful that just men are just like in mass or just deciding just not to deal with them anymore.
Oh my gosh, please don't give up hope on us, okay? We're trying to have podcasts like these and everything. Let's just educate each other, okay? And try to
Yeah,
work with each other.
yeah, well, we're gonna try. As futile as it may be, we're gonna
Stop
try.
it, that is. So the next thing they mentioned was about saying how you feel without blaming your partner, right? A lot of the times, again, it's the kind of words that we use and how we come across, because I know it's easy to say, you did this, you did this, you did this. And they in turn say, instead of that, say, I feel this way, I feel this when you don't do this. I feel this, as opposed to blaming it, blaming it, blaming it. And I noticed that I used to, okay, I'm gonna say this. We think guys are so hard and tough, but I think guys are sensitive too. I feel like when we say things a certain way, like they take it as a hit to their ego every time. Why is it you always bringing up some shit I didn't do, or some shit you
Mhm.
need me to do? Why is it always me? So I feel that we need to word things in a way where it's not like a shot to their ego. Thaddeus, tell me, from a male's perspective, if we see something that we want you to fix, how can we say it to you so you don't feel like it's a personal attack to your ego?
Keep it to yourself. I don't like. I stopped doing the whole let's like I'm some project and it's like let's fix me. It's like nah. Like I'm good. Every time it's like a let's like. I mean, I've been through that. Like especially,
Oh,
I got to a point in life now. It's like if she says let's, oh
let's
honey,
talk.
let's talk, man.
We
Listen,
need
I
to
am
talk.
down for it. I will tell you, grab a seat, come here. Let me go take my pen and pencil, and let me tell you all the stuff that you do that you
Ooh,
need to change. And if you could change those things, then we'll have a conversation about me.
ooh.
I don't know why men just seem to be like these projects that women just trying to fix up. And all of it, like, woman is trying to do is fix a man to be more like her girlfriend. Like, you need to listen more. You need to be more emotionally available. Like, listen, that's a woman that you're explaining. Like, I'm a man.
Damn.
Like, men are men. You want a girlfriend? Right there. There's one for you right there. You go get a girlfriend. I'm a man. Like, I'm gonna do man stuff.
That is,
Like,
so on the other hand, okay, so we're gonna talk about choosing your battles, right? Because that's a huge one. We can't be bringing everything up to the dude, right? But when we do, so you think guys, on the other hand, y'all will see the things about us y'all don't like, but y'all just chalk it up to, okay, that's her. So at what point do y'all actually open your mouth and say something? When what?
so I mean, I can't speak for too many other
Yeah,
guys. I don't know, because guys don't really sit down and discuss that. But
yeah,
I mean, just think about how women, like when you have friends and you just can't stand them, and
yeah.
you know that they can't stand you either. That's how men feel. Like they can't stand your guts either. But like we chalk it up to, I just have to put up with this, to get some.
That
Like that's
is.
our. When is the last time a guy sat you down and try to tell you, hey Nicole, you laugh too loud. Hey, by the way, I don't like the way how you just like. You don't think that men are finding all of these things that he doesn't like about you?
That's
Like
my
you don't think?
question, is what do y'all
Yeah.
do?
So what do we do?
Y'all don't say anything.
Exactly. Take a hint. Like learn. Like
But
you
it,
chalk
but
it up
it's
to this is the person that you got. Like this is how you got them. Why you get somebody and then now you want to work on changing them? It's like I love you so much the way that you are. Now change. Like
Is you killing me today? You are killing me.
yeah, but I mean, this is like common sense that nobody tells women
Oh
because
my God.
like because the thing is like the minute you start telling women this is that's like when you definitely lose them. Like listen, I have talked my way out of a lot of relationships and a lot of women who liked me. Let's say I met them like at a party or like we went out somewhere and I just met this girl. She's like, wow, she's cute, she's pretty. Like we start talking. Like I'm not the type of dude to mince my words just because I like you and I know that if I tell you this, you're gonna be offended and leave. Like, listen, leave.
That
Like
is.
it gets to a point where like men have like so now we've sugar coated so many things. We don't want to tell women anything. And what he has done over the years, I mean, it took a while, but now it backfired. Now women believe that they can do no wrong, that that they're just queen mother goddess, that they're just on a pedestal. Everything that they do is right, and everything that a man does is wrong. and they were sent here by God to teach men how to live.
Why? So
And it's like,
Thaddeus, so when y'all don't like stuff about us, does it secretly make you like us less, or you just accept that's who we are?
we just, I mean, it depends on what it is, right? So if it's like a
Mhm.
huge character flaw, like I've had some women that, like, you know, I really liked, but they had like some huge character flaws that
Would
it
you
just kind
tell
of,
them? Would you tell them at that point? Like if it's something that's like a deal breaker, like it's gonna be like a detriment or make you like them less, do you say something then?
nah, I didn't say anything.
Why
Like,
not? Why don't
it's the
guys?
your character is who you are. Like, that's who you are. Like, why would I try to change you?
But
That
if it's
doesn't make
something
any
that,
sense.
but if they need improvement on it, they might be open to being a better person.
Mm, I mean, I have done, you know, tried to do so, but in my years of dating, I don't think I was ever successful in not one of those. They always change for you for a little bit, but then people go back to their regular programming.
So do guys just sit around really just secretly despising us for all this shit and don't say anything? Thaddeus, no.
No? Okay.
No,
What?
I'm just saying.
Like like I said, let's think about this logically. You have a group of women, they always hate each
Yeah,
other for various reasons, right? That's why women can
yeah.
never keep a girlfriend for longer than what,
Oh my,
2, 3 years? Because after that they get sick of each other, right? And it is like
boy.
it's time to move on, right?
My
Unless you,
goodness.
yeah, like that's how it is. No, guys typically, like, they usually keep their friends for a long time. Guys love hanging around with their friends, like, and that's why women always have a problem with guys hanging out with their friends, because like what is so good about your guy friend that you always have to want to go hang out with him? Like, I have girlfriends, but I secretly hate my girlfriends, and I know that they secretly hate my guts too. I mean, it's probably not that extreme for everybody, but women, you understand, right? I mean, I have a lot of girlfriends. That's the
So is
female.
it the fact that guys just, accept each other for who they are? Because I noticed that like in the friend group, you
Yeah,
know,
we
y'all
don't
are
get up.
different, but y'all still
Yeah,
just accept each other. Like, okay,
we
if
don't
he's the douchebag, he's the this, he's the
exactly.
that. Like that's just who they are.
Like, you know, this dude, he's the liar. Like, you know, okay, you know, like, you know who your friends are. Like, we as men, we know who our friends are. I know, okay, this guy, he asked for money and he not gonna pay. Like, I know who that guy is. I know if I need, you know, if I need some place to stay, like, I know which of my guy friends I'm gonna go to. Like, we understand about that. Like, we guys don't really get on each other's nerves like that, because guys are just usually cool and laid back. That's most guys just want peace. We are not complicated. There's no underlying tones and all these subliminal messages and hierarchies that, like, women have within their group. Like, we don't have all that. So you find normally the women is who bring that over into the relationship space, and she is operating within the relationship as she would operate with one of her girlfriends. And that's one thing in order for you to not have as much conflict. I mean, I could teach men that all day. Like, if you don't want to have conflict, is let a woman understand that, listen, I'm a man, I'm not a woman. Like, I am not a woman. You deal with me as a man with logic. This is how you do, this is how you deal with me. End of story. Like, end of story. And
Wow.
trust me, it might seem harsh, but your relationship would be so much smoother. You will not have to deal with a lot of BS. You will not be an emotional tampon. Like,
Wow.
oh, well, you know, I was having my period today and my mother called, and, like, go talk to your girlfriend. Pick up the phone, y'all chat. Like, that's not my job. It's not my job.
That is. Oh my God. Okay, y'all don't kill him in the comments, or let us know what y'all think too. So the next thing I wanted to mention was choosing your battles, as we spoke about. Again, one of the people I watch always says that, he came up with a rule with his wife where we're only going to argue about things that are worth breaking up for. So if it's not something that's going to be a detriment to relationship, we're not going to have an argument about it. What do you think about that? Like choosing your battles? Because I know as women, again, we always bringing up everything because it's like we don't want to live like that. How you just said, like guys just ignore all this shit about women and secretly don't like them. Like we want to be in love with you all the time. We don't want to harness like negative feelings about you. So if we feel like something feels off, like we want to mention it so we can mend it, and keep moving. But at the point, it does get to a point where there's nagging, right? And it's just annoying to you guys. So
Yeah.
again, I think about choosing your battles. If it's don't, mess about the cap, the top of the, toothpaste, just buy a separate toothpaste, like in the scenario we said. And just save those kinds of discussions for, when it's really a deal breaker. What do you think about because I've thought about this before in terms of how often you bring up something to a dude, right? So if you calendar it, okay, I'm only going to do it 2 or 3 times a year and just
Listen,
save the list of things.
this is just madness. That's just madness. It's like, just do like what the men do and just keep it to yourself. Just keep it to yourself.
But then if we feel bad, if it gives us a negative feeling towards you, how can we
Then
just
then
keep it
then,
to
then you
ourselves?
then you deal with that negative feeling. Like I don't know how else to explain it. But let's say in the case of the cap, right? This guy he leaves the cap off. Like, you need to like rationalize this. It's like, the first emotion that goes through is like, man, this guy doesn't respect me. Like, he just leaves his cap. Then you have to stay around and think about, wait, listen, where is this guy right now? He's working a 16-hour shift just so that, that we could get this vacation that we planned and we said that we would go on. Like, this guy pays for my bill. He's very loving when he comes home. He spends time with me. Like, he really tries, and he's a really good guy. So why would I go do and harass this guy over a damn toothpaste cap? You tell yourself that and you realize, man, like, in the grand scheme of things, this would be a stupid reason to go to my loving husband and disturb his peace for a toothpaste cap. Like, I mean, if when you're thinking about that and you remove the emotion, and you'll be like, I'm not doing that. And just like likewise, like, he come home, you see lipstick on his shirt. It's like,
say so.
All right.
Okay, yeah, go. Yeah, I was with you. I was with you until you. Okay,
I try to slip that one in there.
No. But I noticed that not only is it like the toothpaste cover and things like that, but it is things, that day to day happen. Like you said, the whole, okay, I come home, he didn't wash dishes. I've been with the kids all day. Like, does he not respect me? Does he not respect what I do? Him always wanting to be out with the boys. Those kinds of things that, it's true. We do have to pick our battles. So that's another thing too. And one thing the last thing I two more things I want to mention. One was knowing when to take a time out was another thing they mentioned. So I think some things, you do have to kind of simmer on and let it, stay away from each other for a bit before addressing certain things. So having a timeout, I think is a good thing, especially if you know that your partner is not someone who's like really willing to address something right away. So I think knowing when it's time to take a timeout, I think Lydia mentioned that on our marriage conversation we had. Make sure you guys watch that. The truth about being married. What's it really like to be married? We had couples on there. But yeah, she was saying that anytime you guys have a disagreement or whatever, take 2 or 3 days before addressing it. Because I noticed that even within myself, I do feel different. Like, I have to go through these different emotions and different thoughts for like a day or two to kind of get to a conclusion on, okay, this is really how I feel about the thing. So, the first day I might cry in the shower and think, I'm singing this song about it. Then the next day would be like, man, I really was wrong for doing that. And, and then, by the time 2 or 3 days come, it's like, okay, this is finally how I feel about this and what I want to vocalize about this. So sometimes it is taking a time out and not just trying to deal with things right away. The last thing I wanted to mention, which I thought was very a good idea. Couples did an activity and it really helped them in the long term. And the activity was that they would write down an argument that they had as if they were someone kind of mediating, being a neutral person in the middle. So can you imagine, like, after you guys have an argument, you said your side, I said my side, and then I sat down and wrote down what happened as if I was someone trying to just be in the middle, just stating kind of facts and what happened, how that would change.
This is what people do in relationships?
They don't, but that's what I'm saying. No, listen, I'm saying this is something that they suggested, which I thought was a good idea. Because
really? Do you think a guy would be sitting down there? I told her she was a dumb beep. She told me that I was just like my father. That made me feel very bad inside. It's like, bro, like, People
It's
really doing these.
writing it from an outside, like an outside part, like a mediator, because the whole point is to see from both sides, that is. So it's not
Okay.
like me just writing, hey, how I feel. Now I'm also writing the other person's side. And especially if I'm looking at it from the outside, I can see both sides. You get what I'm saying? That was the whole
Okay.
point of the exercise, that is.
I feel you, but I think that that's a big part of having emotional intelligence. Just like what when I was saying earlier,
Which your
where
ass don't have, because you don't be trying to put yourself in nobody damn shoes.
I do remember when I started talking about the cap, and I'm like, listen, I could look past what it is that we're arguing and see the deeper issue and be able to deal with that. All right. So to me, like if you have emotional intelligence, like you could understand that. And that's why like I don't argue, because what are we arguing about? I mean, we could discuss things, but there's no reason to argue about anything.
Whew.
In my opinion.
So
So you could
y'all
write,
see Thaddeus on all these episodes. If y'all still trying to be in his DMs, who know what you're getting into, okay?
Hey, there's a lot of good stuff that come with that, by the way. It's not just all bad, you know.
Lord. So yeah, so I guess the whole point again of this whole discussion is just to open up the discussion on dealing with conflict, not being so quick to run away, understanding the partner you're dealing with, being open and direct with communication, choosing your battles, seeing from both sides, looking at past trauma. If you have PTSD, not putting everybody in the same box, those kinds of things. So send this to somebody that you need to talk to about it. If you need to call up your therapist, if you need to pray for Thaddeus, whatever it is you need to do. Thank y'all so much for watching this episode, and please leave us some comments and let us know how we're doing, okay? So we'll see you next time on My Comfy Couch. Toodles.